I'm going to tell you about in just a second. But first, I want to just thank everyone for being on here. A lot of people that I see from week to week are on here again and again, asking questions, kind of like putting their 2 cents in and helping keep the conversation going, and I really, really appreciate that. So as we're getting started, you can go ahead and start leaving your comments and questions either below on YouTube or on that little weird white box to the right. I don't know why it's weird box, but that box on the right on you now, and we will get to your questions in just a moment. If you are watching this as like the repost show on YouTube, you can go ahead and still leave your questions, and we'll get back to them. Real quick about that, we're getting more and more questions, which is more and more awesome. However, that means that it's taking a little bit longer to get back to them. So if you don't see them like within the first day or 2 or 3, we're still working on it. And if you're checking this out with SoundCloud, you're checking out the podcast, then go ahead and you can like send me a DM or an email about anything you're interested or wondering about, and we'll get to you that way. Tonight, my very great friend, oh, look at this. 2 of my great friends are on here at the same time right now. Kate, the Sleepy Teacher. If you've not checked out her channel, you should. And my friend, Miss May, we just call her Fab. She is the One Fab Teacher. I'm going to guest her in now. Waiting. My hair is like going nuts. I have melting summer hair. Let's see. It's inviting the guest. Here she comes. Ladies and gentlemen. Fab!
Hey, what's happening, Reno?
What's up? How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you live.
I know. It's been a while.
I know. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic.
You YouTube star, you?
Yeah. I'm not as big as you.
No,
so, you know.
You are big. No, you are beyond bigger than Miss May. All you hear going around the YouTube community is Reynolds. Like, you are the man. The man. Hi, Kate.
Kate's on here. She is. I was texting with her earlier today. What was I going to ask you? Now I'm losing my train of thought. Real quick before we jump into what our opening topic is, how's your summer going? What's
Summer's been good. My parents, they were here about a month ago, so I had a great time enjoying them. And then honestly, this summer has been the one summer where I've truly just did a lot of resting and relaxing and not thinking so much about school and work and all that. I've kept my niece and nephews quite a bit as well. It's just been very easy going, swimming, relaxing, Netflixing. You know, I've just been really chill, real chill, which has been nice.
That's awesome.
How about yours? How's yours?
This was the first summer I didn't work for someone else. And my wife just worked, and I stayed home with the kids and I've been working on YouTube and stuff. It's the busiest summer I've ever had. It's like way more busy than working for someone else because you're just never done.
Never done.
I call it being a not so single dad not so single dad because my wife is at work all day and then I'm just home with the kids and it's just never ending stuff. So,
it looks like Brody had a great birthday.
He did. He had a great birthday.
Y'all are so awesome. Birthdays are so special. Like literally,
my
I'm so watery eyed.
Oh man, he's great. My wife loves birthdays, so the birthdays are always like a little bit extra. We say.
Well, I liked how you guys create those entryways for them. They have to run through their birthday entryway. Like that was, I like that. That was super cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing something like that in school this year. Also, I just think it could be a fun idea for kids. So we'll see.
Doesn't
see how it
surprise
works
me.
out. Let's jump into this. That people are jumping in here. One of the things I want to talk about. So I have 2 different angles we can kind of approach this with. One is,
okay,
how do you start your year off on the right foot? Like so someone's going, maybe it's their second year teaching, maybe it's their first year teaching, maybe they've been teaching for 20 years and they kind of do the same thing. So how do you start the year off on the right foot? Or how do you start off like on a positive note. And so what I mean by that is, you see tons of memes out there, tons of like tweets and Instagram posts kind of like begrudging the beginning of the school year, which some of that stuff is funny, right? I'm not trying to say
Drives
like
me
none of that stuff is
crazy.
hilarious.
It is.
There was,
Some of it is funny, but some of it
yeah,
is a little nerve wracking.
yeah, because it's every once in a
Yeah.
while you'll see like the same thing, and it's like, no, like it doesn't have to be like that. Like, you know, it
Like,
should be something you're excited about,
it
right?
doesn't have to be.
So how do you do that?
Right. I know. I totally. Well, honestly, Reynolds, like starting at the beginning of the year, like I'm always excited about starting a new fresh school year. And I will say, if people are having difficulty with that, sometimes it could be you need a change of environment, because sometimes it's, it can grade levels. Maybe you feel like things are just repetitive, or you need a change in schools. I mean, I've gone through that process where, after every 5 years or so, I'm getting kind of bored, and I ask for change. But at the same time, I think so many people try to find their good and sunshine through other people, and sometimes you just have to create your own happy and your own good and your own positivity versus looking for it from other people, because sometimes you'll find yourself getting disappointed. But the way I look at it is, I love my job. I love teaching. I love being a teacher. I love the kiddos. So I'm going to just be positive just because it's what I love to do. You know what I mean? I just get happy at the beginning of the year. Prepping my classroom, like I just get, and for them to get excited about it. But it also helps when you have people around you that are just as passionate and excited about it as you are. Like I get excited making my procedures list and my things I need to buy list and my planning list. Like I get excited about that stuff at the beginning of the year, and I get excited about creating that classroom environment before the kiddos come. And I just have to say, if you're in a rut, because it could be because people are in a rut because of a bad school year from the previous year. And we just have to remember that we get this fresh, brand new start. And we just have to look at it in a positive way. Like, okay, I didn't get fired. I didn't get written up. It was just a rough school year, and just look at it as, this is a fresh new start. And I think sometimes people, they look for other people, which I understand that, but you can't always look for other people to bring the positivity to you. Sometimes you just have to create that. And if you're constantly not happy, either it's the profession, it's the grade level, or it's the campus, and something has to change. And sometimes it's just us.
Yeah. So, what are you planning on doing? Like, what's new for you this year that you're excited about? Is there anything coming up that you're pumped about?
Anything new I'm doing? Well, I'm going to, so I'm going to do a donor's choose, and I'm going to try to do flexible seating. But so here's my thing with flexible seating. I don't know if you watch Ruth from Detroit, Teacher Life, 20 Years in the Game.
Oh yeah, Detroit teacher, 20 years in the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So I was watching one of hers, and she said it so well, because this whole flexible seating thing, like I'm sure you can remember. I know when I was teaching, I used to let my kids sit wherever they wanted. They could stand and work. They could lay on the floor and work, and we put this name on it. And
yeah,
it's just something that was done before, but just with a little bit of a twist to it. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
like people make it seem like it's this whoa, brand new thing,
yeah,
in the classroom. And I just cracked up because she was so right when she said that, because
yeah,
a lot of these things that these teachers, some of them get pumped up about. It's like, wait a minute, that was like things you see on Pinterest. It's like, man, I saw that way back in the day when I first started. But to get back to what I was saying, like with the flexible seating, like I do want different seating styles for the kiddos. Like I want the wobbly wiggle seats for my kiddos. I do the yoga balls, but I want to have more seating options for the kiddos. Not necessarily you can work on the floor, you can stand up and work. I already do that, but
yeah,
just to have more different seating options. That's one change that I want to do. So I'm going to do a donors choose for that to get some of that stuff going on. And then other than that, right now, I don't have nothing really major, anything big going on. I took on a role at my school, PBIS leadership. So that's going to take a lot of me and my time. So I'm kind of just trying to
Yeah.
focus on that. So I'm not trying to change too much in my own classroom because I have that going on too. But really, honestly, the only thing really changing, I want to provide a more different seating arrangement environment for my kiddos. But other than that, I'm just keeping it how Miss May does it until, how those things happen where you think about things and stuff doesn't come. But then, like, when you're in the moment of the school, in the middle of the year, or when school starts, you're like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. That's usually when things come to me, when I want to change something going on or do something big in my classroom.
Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking, so I have these, so the really great thing about my school is I'm allowed to do pretty much anything that I want. So I already have a couch in my room, which every student comes in to sit on, and they all fight to sit on the couch. And then I have these two very large sills in the back also but my boys are so big that they're starting to cave in the windowsills because I let them sit up there. But it's one of those things that it could be flexible seating. I really just thought of it as oh, you want to sit on the windowsill? I don't care. Dude, whatever it takes to get you to read. Oh, you want to stand on your bed and read? Awesome. Sounds like a wonderful idea. Go ahead and do it. And so flexible seating, I'm thinking of in terms of that too. I'm not going nuts. I'm not going to do some people even Jen from Genuine Teaching has a lot, her tables are at all different levels and stuff. I think that's cool if I had younger kids. But what I'm looking to do is put some pads on the back and kind of fix my windowsill so that they don't cave in and I don't lose a kid. And then do stand-up desks in the back of my room also, because I do have a lot of kids that are I think if they just got to stand up and rock back and forth or move a little bit, that
would help.
Them. Other than that, I'm not sure. I don't think I can do the yoga balls. I don't think 9th graders and yoga balls are a good idea.
Can handle them.
Yeah, I think that could go real quick. I think if I was in the room, it would be all right. But if I wasn't in the room, I'm afraid it would be all right. Across the room. But yeah, so that's a really great way. I think those kind of changes are a real positive start to the year too. It gives you something to be excited about in your classroom, gives other people something to get excited about and inspired about by walking into your room and seeing oh, that's a great idea. Maybe I could do that.
Right.
And I always tell new teachers, if they like something in my room, go ahead and do it. I have no ownership over this. If I do I do a lot of chalkboard paint in my room, go do chalkboard paint. Oh. I'm not going to walk into your room and think, oh, you stole my idea. Let's all do whatever.
Exactly.
Fair. And so, it makes it more excited to do stuff like that. And,
it does. It does.
Then we have this whole new class this year that I'm looking forward to, which is it's a cooperating teacher I have a cooperating teacher in with me all day, and we have all right, here the wife. I'm terrible at multitasking, and my wife is whispering to me, and I'm trying.
Hi, Miss Reynolds.
So,
the wife for life.
The wife for life. That's her. That's my buddy. So we're getting ready to do. All kinds of new stuff. And I love upgrading my room every year. I like the kids to come back every year and go, wait, this wasn't like this last year. How come it didn't look like this for us? It's better.
Yes.
Yeah, man, I want you to long for that class. It's part of how I
know
my stuff up.
Right. And that's what's so exciting at the beginning of the year.
Yes, totally. What else am I thinking of? And then, yeah, I think you're right. Just going in and one of the things I do to make my beginning of the year fun is I'll play music in my room, or I get like a new Glade plugin or like what's just something that's going to change the vibe in there immediately. Like as soon as I walk in my room, it's different, it's lively, and it's
That's
just more
right.
fun to kind of just be in there.
Well, and that's the thing. Like I like to tell people, like I like to do, like for Meet the Teacher night when the kids come up with their parents. Like I tell people, play music while while the parents are coming in. Get that positive, happy vibe going. You know what I mean? I think music changes so many dynamics in a classroom.
Yes.
But I mean, I just feel like people, you just have to create your own happy. And I just feel like if you're not happy about the new year starting, something is wrong. Like something is wrong. You know what I mean? Like I get we have those times where, oh, you don't want to go back because you've enjoyed relaxing. And I get that. But if you're still unhappy when you enter into that building to get your room set up, there's something's wrong. You know what I mean? And we have to figure out what the wrong is to fix it.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, there are parts of me that like when I go back to school, like like taking naps in the summer, and I don't get a nap when I'm back at school, and then I'm tired, or like,
Yes.
or I really, really miss my kids every year at the beginning of the school year, like my own.
I bet.
The one
I bet.
offspring, I just miss them terribly in the beginning of the year, and so
I know that's hard.
but so I have to amp myself up, whether that's like buying new stuff for my classroom or thinking about how I can upgrade something or a new configuration in my classroom. And that kind of stuff starts getting me excited about like, oh yeah, like that's a really great possibility, or that could be something new that would be awesome every day. Like,
right.
So yeah.
Right.
You have to
I
like
agree.
make going back.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
So let's jump into you want to jump into some questions?
Let's do this.
Awesome. The Scottish teaching ninja who's on here every single week, and I really, really appreciate it. She said, "Do you both have a start of the year process, or do you take each year as it comes? So, like, do you have it? Does the beginning of year? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about start of the year process for you before your kids come back. Does that look the same? And when your kids come back, does that look the same every year, or does it change?"
I think the start of the process, like some of it is the same. Like before I start, like usually like about the second week before. No, I would say about a month before I have to go back. I just create this list of what I need to do, what I want to buy. I map out my classroom, so I'm not buying unnecessary things that I don't need. And I just like to prepare a list. Like that always stays the same. I think though, as time goes on, for the most part, once you get into this routine and this habit of how you like things to be at the beginning, I think that stays the same, and you may tweak a little bit of things here and there. Maybe the way maybe you'll have a brochure out this year, but then next year you decide, I don't want a brochure, I want a flip book of some sort of talking about myself and the procedures and all this, that, and other. For the most part, though, I think I always just try to keep it the same. I just feel like if it's not broke, it doesn't need to be fixed. So let's not reinvent the wheel. For the most part, I usually just start off pretty much the same kind of routine that I have to help prepare me for the beginning of the school year. And as time goes on, sometimes some things may change, but overall, for the most part, I just keep the routine the same on how I prepare.
Yeah, I think you? I try and keep it really simple. I think beginning of August, we don't go back until August 28th, even for teacher meetings, and our students don't come back till September 6th, which is really nice.
Nice.
And I love that turn into August, because what it does is it kind of reminds me that time is running out. Like I still have a month, which is a lot, which is way more than like most people have off in a year. And
right.
It gives me that sense of urgency to start planning, and I start planning all of my time out, right? So like what I'm going to do for school, making lists, but also like being really deliberate about my time that I'm like spending with my kids and with my wife, and getting stuff done around my house.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like when my house feels like it's together when I go back to school.
Right.
Jobs I had got done. And then
right.
I always take my wife and my kids come up to my school in the beginning of the year, and the kids help me like clean my desks, and my
Oh,
way better organizing than I am, so she helps me organize, and which is always funny conversation. Because I'm thinking of this because she's sitting next to me. My wife is
yeah,
far more trusting of the students than I am, and so
yeah.
he's like, "Why are you like you should put a poster right there or like a picture right there." I'm like, "No, I can't do that because the kids are going to touch it or someone's going to bang into it." And she's like, "No, they won't bang into it." And then if I listen to her, it always gets banged into. It always gets ripped or messed up or something. And so all of my pictures in my room are at least 6 feet or above on the walls. Nothing lower than that because the boys always bang into it and they don't think. And so it gets messed up. So
Right.
it's funny. It's this funny dialogue that we have at the beginning of every year. But I love like cleaning out my desk completely and only putting back stuff that I'm going to need for the year. Because the end of the
Yes.
year, I don't do a good job of packing up my room. I really just shove stuff and then I'm just
Just
done.
shove it.
And I'd
Right.
rather start fresh in the beginning of the year. And then my first days of school are always exactly the same. First day is like, I'm telling you how excited I am that you're there and how excited I am to be a teacher. And then I have you like your letters that you will get back in graduation 4 years from
Oh, I
now.
think that's so
And
awesome.
yeah, and then second day is like questions about you, and then I don't go into rules and procedures until like the third day, and there's only a few of those, so it's nice. I just
Right.
like get through all, and then I start teaching as fast as I can because
Right.
beginning of the year can be a drag, and the kids hear too many rules anyway in the beginning of the year. So
Right. Right. No,
how
I think it's good. I think keeping it simple is best. And
yeah,
sometimes I just think as teachers we just overthink things sometimes, and we feel like we have to do way more than what we should, and we just overthink, and it becomes over tiring, and then it starts to become a burden. And I just feel like if we just think
Right.
simple, and if it works, just keep it that way and let it work.
Things.
Let me see.
I don't know what's happening here. You froze all of a sudden.
You're froze on my end, from my friend.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to read this next question. I'm going to drop you out, and then I'll just bring you right back in. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, that's not working. But this next question from Jennifer Borger, I'm going to bring you in just a second, and or I'll have that question on in just a moment. Fab, where are you? Fab. All right, so while I'm waiting for Fab to show back up, I'm going to say, can you look for that, dude? My not so secret wife is helping me out. She disappeared. Maybe we'll see what happens. So the question is, with flexible seating with high schoolers, do you let them sit wherever they want every day? So my question for that is going to be, you all right? What's going on? Something's happening next to me. I don't even know what's taking place over here. So my plan for that is going to be every day they come in and they have to sit in their assigned seat. And what that allows me to do is take attendance really, really quickly. The way my attendance sheet is set up, I only have to look at my students to make sure they're in their seats. I never like call roll because that takes way too long. So if you're in your seat when the bell rings and you get, I give points for that and sometimes they're real and sometimes they're totally imaginary, but you just say the word points and kids are more apt to do what you ask. And so I check and make sure that they're in their seats. And then once I give out my lesson or I do like my mini lecture in the beginning and they know what they're supposed to do, I'll let them know like who can move where or where I want them to sit for the day. And, you find that the kids want to do the same thing every day anyway. So who sits on the windowsill wants to sit there every day. Who wants to sit on the couch, sits on the couch every single day. Fab is coming back now. Sorry about this, everyone.
I don't know what happened, my
That's
friend.
better. Awesome.
Okay.
So I was answering a question that was geared towards me. They were asking how I do flexible seating or how I will do it in high school. Like, do I let the kids sit wherever they want? And I was just saying, not necessarily. Like I find that the kids want to be in the same place all the time every day anyway. So like they probably, my guess is they probably sit on the same seat on the bus every single day. At lunch, you sit
Going in
in
and
that
out.
spot. Like we like to have our little territory. So after the beginning of the year, and they kind of figure out where that little extra space of theirs is going to be, then they can like that's probably where they're going to want to sit every day anyway. So it never becomes like a fight or something like that.
Okay.
So oh gosh, I'm never going to say this name right. I apologize. I'm going to spell your name. Mosm and then SMOI asked, how do you keep favoritism out of your classroom? And so that that individual also asked, I'm going into my freshman year and I'm nervously excited. So this is from a student. How do you not let favoritism get in the way?
Oh, this is something that, you know, this is the answer because I can't stand favoritism. I just can't. And I just, you're going to have those kiddos, don't get me wrong, that you connect with a little bit more than the other. But the thing is that you can't show, like, I can't be constantly saying, Johnny, take this to the office for me. Johnny, will you pass out the papers? Oh, I loved how Johnny did this. Oh, I love how you have to be mindful that you have X amount of students in your classroom. And so that's why I give my kiddos, I give them jobs. They all have a job to do in the classroom. I have strategies where I pull sticks, cards, whatever the case is, for if I'm calling on them, to answer a question for me. You have to think of ways to not show that favoritism because, I'm not going to lie. When I taught third grade, I had a grandparent. One of the kiddos was living with his grandparent. And at the end of the year, we had our end of the year ceremony. And the grandpa came to me and he said, just pull me to the side. And he said, Miss May, I just want to thank you. And I said, no problem, but for what? And he's like, I just want to thank you for never showing favoritism. So, that his grandson was coming home telling him that Miss May doesn't have favorites. And when I talk to my kiddos, I try to tell them that each one of them, they're my favorite. You all are my favorite. You're one of my favorite. All of you are my favorite. And I even try to say it when I'm like, I could just be in the middle of teaching or something, and I'll just tell them, you all are my favorite. There's just certain times where you have those teachable moments where it just comes up. I can't even think of it. I know it happened last year, and it just comes up, and you're like, you know what? You all are my favorite. Or they'll say, so-and-so is always doing a good job. And I'm like, you all do a good job. Not just so-and-so. You all do a good job.
Yeah.
I just think we have to be mindful of what we're doing in the classroom when it comes to calling on kids, choosing kids for activities, choosing kids to lead certain things, choosing kids to go do certain things for us. Sometimes you need to choose that naughty one that just taps on that nerve so bad. But sometimes you just gotta choose that kiddo. They have to feel like you're their favorite. Like every time I'm conferencing with the kiddo, I want them to feel and know that, oh my gosh, Miss May really cares about my writing. She just doesn't care about, because let's face it, the kids they know who's the great writer or the great mathematician. When we do activities, you can tell who can do what. And I just try my best to make them all feel like they are just as special as the next one. Especially my kiddos that I know don't get a lot of attention at home. I try to even it out because I don't want to give too much attention because I don't want them to become too needy on me either. Like I really try my best to instill independence in my first graders, because if they come to me and say, look at my picture, Miss May, do you like it? And I'll say, boys and girls, if you come to me and ask me that, Miss May's going to tell you, no, I don't like it. And they're like, but it teaches them not to come to me and say, do you like my picture, Miss May? Because Miss May's going to come to you and Miss May's going to tell you, I love your picture. You don't have to come to me and ask me that.
Yeah,
And
that's
I know, and kids, and I'll have some that I can tell will try and test me and say, "Is she really gonna do that?" Reynolds, no lie, they'll do it, and I'll say, "No, I don't." And they're like, "Oh, okay." But I guarantee you, they never come back to me and ask me that ever. But it teaches them independence because, like, you know, you're doing an excellent job, don't you? Yes, Miss May's gonna come back. Trust me. I love to praise. I love to praise kiddos. And once they find out how I am as a teacher, they don't do that anymore. But
yeah,
I make sure that every kiddo is being praised in that classroom.
yeah. You're right.
I just think with favoritism, teachers have to be very mindful.
It's I think it's hard too because I know in high school anyway because the boys switch classrooms so much that so like for each period they go somewhere else, and when they're certain guys are in my room a lot when they are like before school or after school or during lunch, it looks like I have favorites all the time because they are choosing to be in my room. And so you'll get comments from kids like, "Oh, you just like, how come he never gets in trouble? How come you let him go to the bathroom all the time?" And it's hard because some kids I let go to the bathroom because I know they're going to act right, or I let them run errands because it's important and I know they're going to remember what to do. But you're right, like I do have to come up with substitute activities for like if I have a kid who's like kind of a pain in the butt, but they're super energetic. It's like I'll give them a lot of errands because I want them to be able to like run off some of that energy, or because I want them to feel like I'm not just looking at one person. And so I also one of my ways that I kind of like connect with my students is I tease everyone all the time, and it's like so I make sure that I tease everyone so that I don't want anyone to feel like why are you always picking on me? Like I'm always the go-to. And I do have a couple of guys. I tell my students like, actually, the way that works with me is a little bit reversed. Kind of the more I tease you, it's probably because I really like you and because I think you can take it and because I think it's going to be fun, right? So like, I'm never trying to crush anyone, but it just makes it more fun that way, and it makes it like a more playful relationship. And so that is tricky, the favoritism thing.
It is. And it's tricky. It's you just gotta be very. I just feel like mindful, and you know, because you find yourself calling, you know, a particular student a lot, and I just feel like we have to be mindful. I don't feel like there's one perfect way to do it, but I think we just have to be more mindful of, you know, what we do. Like, you know, and I try to make sure I recognize all my kiddos. Like we do first day of the week. So for a whole week, we shine the light on that one first grader, and they have all these activities they do for the whole week. And, you know, they get to eat lunch with me. You know, parents or guardians can come up and have lunch with them. You know, they share a poster, their posters up all week, full of pictures and stuff. And I make sure every first grader gets that opportunity because, you know, just so they feel even more extra special in the classroom. Or sometimes I'll just say, you know, guys, you know, everybody's eating lunch with me today. Let's just eat lunch in the classroom today. Or, you know, I try to pick tables, you know, here. I try to be mindful as possible as I can. It's just very tricky. It's obvious when someone's showing favoritism, but it's also obvious when someone may be showing it, but then realizing that, man, okay, I need to change this a little bit, because I do think there are teachers out there, because I'm going to be honest, not every teacher out there is an amazing teacher and kind, caring teacher. And some teachers do show favoritism and do it purposefully, you know, just to be mean, which isn't cool. I mean, and it's sad, but it's the real world, and that's how it is. I mean, I found so many fabulous teachers on YouTube, you know, but in all honesty, you know, in some of our schools that we work at, you know, not all teachers are like that. And there are teachers that they don't care about showing favoritism. But I know it's a hard thing. It's a hard concept to grasp, but I just feel like we just have to be more mindful, just more cautious, I guess.
I think two real quick ways that I'm thinking of that popped up for me that I kind of handle that are, one if I do really, really like a kid and they always have their hand in the air and they always want to help, I will, on the low, go and talk to them and say, hey, look, I realize that you always want to help. And I think you're totally wonderful, but you have to realize that, like, this is one of my classroom management things, is that, like, if I'm giving everyone a job or if I'm letting everyone help, that is going to help me. And I know that you would want that. You want a better class for everyone, because I can tell that's the kind of student that you are, and they always go with that. And the other thing is, if I have someone that's really quiet, I'll always make sure that, like, even if we're in the middle of like a quiet working time, I'll just go over and say, I don't always get a chance to tell you this, but I think that you're fantastic for this reason. Like, you are always attentive. You're always getting your work done. You're always like really.
And this is why you're the bomb.
So, but those tiny moments, I think
those little things,
like, they like blush and they get like all shy because they're, because the quiet kids always get overlooked. They always fly under the radar. And so it's so important to just put your, I will say this. The more people that start following me on social media, the more mindful I have to be about like some of the things I suggest people do. So like, I would go over and put my hand on a kid's shoulder and say, hey, I want you to know, like, I think that you're doing a fantastic job. You're awesome. But then I'll get like 10 comments back like, I can't put my hand on kids' shoulders. It's against the rule. And I'm all right. So enter in like as you wish, but that's I think just touching things like that is important. This one? Okay.
For sure.
Okay. So this question is from Heather Pascal. Heather, I always mess your name up, and I really apologize. Okay. But my wife accidentally erased the comment, but it essentially said, can we talk a little bit about bullying in upper elementary grades? So, I mean, that could be you, and then I could talk about bullying. Do you have an issue with bullying at your school? And if so, what does that look like?
To be honest, at the school that I'm at right now, that's not really an issue. Like, I've heard of where you have parents who say my child is being bullied, and you have to, look into the situation and see, is this really bullying? I mean, is this a consistent thing, or is this just two kiddos maybe not getting along, or what? Honestly, I have not had that issue at my school. I don't, I guess because a lot of it too is like at our school, we're required to have morning meetings with our kiddos, and we're required to I just build this sense of community at our school with our kiddos. Now, I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I know it doesn't happen a lot in lower elementary. Like, I know I don't hear of it in K1, 2. I personally haven't had to deal with that, where a parent has come to me and said, hey, my kid is being bullied. I haven't dealt with that here at my school, to be honest. In years past, when I taught third grade, it came up, but it didn't come up like it does now. It just seems like that word bullying is used a lot in this day and age, and I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure what the deal is. I personally haven't had to deal with it, where I'm teaching at right now. In the past, I've had conversations where a parent has come to me and said, look, Ms. May, this is going on. I feel like my child is being bullied. And I'm like, hey, let me talk to the kiddo. Let me find out what's going on. And usually when that happens and you have that conversation with that kid, and then you bring the two kids together and have that conversation, it usually gets worked out, and then it's not an issue. So for me personally, I haven't really had to deal with a parent being really angry about bullying and going to the principal, and it's this big blowout. I haven't experienced that, so I really can't speak on that.
Yeah. I don't think my school deals with it as much as a lot of other schools do, because we're so small, and because I think most of the teachers are, if not all, are really, really invested in relationships with the students. But I will say that, like, so I'm actually going to make a video. I was writing out notes for a video about this just yesterday, because I'm going to back to school video, because I think what you can do to kind of like thwart a lot of that is a couple of things. One, always be like, make yourself present in the school. So even if you have a very big school, like let all the kids know that you exist. And I start that on the first day. I step outside and I greet students as they're walking into the building and say hello, whether I know you or not. And that does a couple of things. One, it lets kids know who I am. And two, it gives me a little bit of like clout with the newer students because they see me like giving handshakes and hugs to all of the kids who've already been there that are excited to see me. And that kind of shines a positive light on me and makes them remember me. And then I'm always in the hallway, like before school, after school, in between classes. I'm always shaking hands. I'm always saying what's up. I'm always being silly, doing something in the hallway. And that just makes you more known. And then I always tell my kids from the very first day, if you need anything, someone's bothering you, you forget your locker combination, you are lost, you don't know how to work the schedule for the school, come and see me. Because I want my classroom to be a safe place where you can come with any problem. And I think that's the gateway to kids coming to you with bigger problems. Like, you know, oh, I go to Reynolds about everything. And I've had students like bring another kid that I don't teach and they're like, no, he's all right. Like I talk to Reynolds about stuff all the time. You should talk to him about what's going on. And I think that happens because
that's so awesome.
Yeah, because when you're always telling kids like, dude, you can come to me with anything. And then once they do with some little stuff, it's like, all right, maybe you can handle something heavy now. And and I think being in the hallway also, it gives you a chance to have your radar on, right? Students, I know everything that's happening all the time because the kids talk so loud about it. They'll be like talking super loud about their girlfriend or someone they hooked up with or that party on Friday night. And so when I later will go like, yo, did you guys go to that party at so-and-so's house on Friday night? They're like, how do you know about that? I'm like, oh, the one that the cops came to? And I'm like, yeah, Reynolds knows everything. And they are so oblivious to the fact that I would possibly know about stuff. And I'm like, dude, everyone talks super loud about everything. I know everything that's going on.
So you know everything.
You get to know the not so good stuff that's going on also. So like someone's talking trash because they were teasing so-and-so in science class, or yeah, did you see when I like put gum on that kid's chair? Oh, now I know about that, and I'm going to address that situation right away. And I think that really helps dealing with bullying. And then I always address kids directly. I almost never go to administration unless I absolutely have to, unless someone's not responsive. But I always just go right to the kid and ask them about it and work it out. So, yeah.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
Heather also asked, what do you guys think about nightly homework? Yay or nay? I think you and I have actually talked about this before.
Nay!
Yeah. There she is. Life for life. It takes a lot for her to put her hands in. It's I really dislike homework. This year I am going to give homework, but it will be 3 nights a week and it should take no more than 10 minutes. And that's even for my lowest level readers. And that's just because I think the disservice that I'm doing is that they have homework in 10th grade and above every single night in every single class. And I don't think I'm setting them up to have that routine ready. So it's really basic, like read these 3 paragraphs, answer these questions. And more than anything, it's to get you into the routine of doing something and being responsible. But that's it.
I agree. I'm not a fan of homework. I don't like it. The one thing I do ask of my kiddos is, hey, 10 minutes before you go to bed, read a book from your reading bag, read a book or 2. But I feel like we do so much in a day with these kids. They are dog day. Like, play with your friends and play outside. Spend time with your family. Like, all this homework, and then parents are crying because their kids are crying over the homework, and the kids are crying because they don't want to do the homework. And it's just, I can't stand homework. The most I give my kiddos is 10 minutes every night. Give Miss May 10 minutes before you go to bed, or read a book, or two before you go to bed, and that's it. I'm not a fan of homework because I feel like as they become older, they're going to get plenty of that. They're going to get plenty of where they're going to have to study nightly and prepare for exams. It's going to come. It's going to come. But homework for me,
Yeah.
nope. I can't. I don't like it.
How long's your school day? How long are the kids at school for? Just out of curiosity.
So I have to be there at 7:30. No, at 8:00. My kids are there at 8, and then we're done at 4. So it's a long day, and like I think about all the stuff that we do in a day. That is a long day, and then you want me to give them some homework to do more work at home? Like, that's what's wrong with the world. These kids are not spending enough time with their families and their loved ones, and just being a kid. I mean, it's too much. It's too much.
My wife is going nuts over here. She's going.
All right, I actually might come on because I seriously can't agree enough. My son gets 7 minutes for playtime outside, which is absurd.
Ridiculous.
7 minutes and probably at least 20 to 30 minutes of homework every night. And if
that's
you
what drives
are a
me
child
nuts.
that has any,
we just spent all day doing all this work, and now we need to go home and do more work. Really? No.
I can't even tell you. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, I spent like over an hour every tiers, and finally we both just said, nope, I'm just not doing it today. And we literally just don't do it. We do a very little bit that we're required.
Or we'll write a note and say, hey, we did homework for 20 minutes, and that's all this is what we got done in 20 minutes. And they know that
I would be doing the same thing.
20 minutes. You can't be like sitting there for 10 and then doing this for 10 minutes. Like, it has to be, as long as you work for 20 minutes, and that's fine. Then I feel like I fulfill an obligation. But I mean, my students in Philadelphia are at school from 8 to 5, and some of these guys have an hour and a half commute to school. So it's an hour and a half to get to school. You're there from 8 to 5. So you're getting home at like 7:30 or 7 o'clock.
And then you want to do some homework?
It's ridiculous.
So, no, it's ridiculous. No, I'm not a fan of homework, and I never will be.
All right, Heather, you hit two. That was two big topics you brought up there. You brought a lot of fire out of everybody with those questions. Lynn Fitzel is asking. She said, "You two are so inspirational. My question is, how do you keep from staying late at school and bringing work home? And how do you keep the balance of life and work? Do you bring work home?"
Wow. Well,
you're frozen again, but I can hear your voice. I'm going to see.
But you're frozen too, but you can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. First of all, thank you so much. And here's my thing. When I first started out, I was the one that always stayed late. I got there early. I stayed late. And I did that consistently, and it made me so unhappy and so sad. And so I got to the point where it was like, it's got to be one or the other. So now I'm that teacher that I do like to get to work early because I like being in the school when not many people are there. And I'm not talking to other teachers. I'm getting work done. And so I choose to come in early and get myself together, prepare things. I would honestly say use your planning time as wisely as you can. Time management is the key, and also realizing that it all doesn't get done and it's okay. Definitely get done what you can and what you should truly get done. But the other extra, you got to know how to just say, no, that's okay. Because like I refuse now to work on stuff on the weekend too much. Now there are some things that I do take here and there, but overall I just don't. You just have to be able to let it go. And like when I taught third grade, there would be papers that just didn't get graded and they went in the trash. And you know what? It's okay. I really believe that you gotta find that to find the balance. I would say to honestly choose if you want to stay late or go in early, to choose one or the two. For me, I'd rather come in early because when that bell rings and all my kiddos are gone, I am out the door. ready to go, and I don't take anything home anymore unless it's something that I truly need to take home. But I use my parents who volunteer to cut things and make things for me. I use my planning time really wisely. Like, I'll talk to my colleagues, but then it's also time where it's like I put my headphones on so people know that I'm in my zone and I'm here. I got to get stuff done.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want to be rude, but it's like, hey, I don't want to take this home. I don't want to stay late because I'm not happy when I do that. And so I would honestly say choose one. I mean, because sometimes you do have to come in early or you have to stay late. And I would say choose one of those. But then I would also say to really use your time wisely. Don't overwork yourself, with unnecessary things. Give some of your activities to parents who volunteer that want to help you out. I would definitely use your parents or volunteers in the school. But I would just always tell yourself that it doesn't all get done and it's okay. It's okay if you leave your desk. I mean, some days I leave and my desk is a hot mess, and guess what? I don't care. I'm going home. I want to go home and watch TV and chillax. So that's that's my advice. It doesn't all get done, and it's okay.
And that's huge, right? So like two important things that I'm just going to echo, because I think you said everything that I believe in as well, is that one, it doesn't all get done ever. So when I first started teaching, and my wife would always ask me like, "Are you almost done? Are you almost done working?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm never done." Or if I come like back downstairs from working upstairs in our bedroom, they'll be like, "Oh, are y'all finished?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not finished. Like, I'm never finished. There's always 100 other things I could do, but I have to not. For me, really, good enough is
Good.
I'm really okay with good enough. Like,
Me too, Reynolds.
Has no
Me too.
place because and to be honest, I know myself after teaching for this long that I know what I can do with good enough. I know what I can make it look like. And I can do a lot with that. And so, and no lesson's ever perfect anyway, because to be honest, you could perfect something and make it look like magic. And if you walk in the room and the kids aren't on point that day, or there's a fire drill that day, it's like, it's just not worth my time.
Right.
Really,
it's not.
Especially when I'm trying to be kid-centered and not like have everyone centered on how great my lesson was or how awesome I was.
Exactly. And I think if people would not worry so much what other people are thinking when they come in that classroom, if we just focus more on the kiddos, I think that would eliminate some of that too.
Yeah. You're frozen all the way now. I can't hear you, but I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to drop you and then bring you right back in, and then we'll finish up.
Okay.
So I'm going to say to that also what Miss May was saying was like this idea that you what was she talking about? Oh, so like work-life balance. I think one of the problems that people have is that they constantly like think they're going to figure out the perfect work-life balance, and then you never have to like reassess that again. I reassess that weekly, if not daily. So like, did I spend a lot of time with my kids today? Then maybe I don't do so much work, because now that I'm coming home from school, I'm doing a lot of work for YouTube or answering questions or comments and stuff like that. So I will constantly like reassess and think like, have I been giving work too much time? Have I been giving my kids enough time? Have I been giving my wife enough time? Even my dog enough time? And that kind of stuff is like, you have to constantly reassess whether or not like, am I doing a good job? Am I like, where is the lack and where is there like a little bit of overload? And so just moving that back and forth, I think is super important, and not feeling like,
I agree.
You can't sit down and schedule it out and say, this is the perfect work-life balance. It's just not going to happen. Like, you have to reassess.
It doesn't happen.
Nope.
You do. You truly do. I agree.
The Mrs. CJ. Who is this? That. What, are you writing questions in?
No.
The Mrs. CJ said, how do you guys expect our little teacher community on YouTube will change as the school year begins? I reported to duty.
She started school, she's saying.
She started school. And then and then the follow-up was, last week super busy collabing with local colleagues, and I'm missing you guys already. It feels like the last day of summer camp. Well, will you promise to write or vlog when school starts? So how does school affect the amount of stuff that you put out? Like, or do you think that it will, your uploads will diminish?
This is where I'm kind of torn because I'm not sure. Like, I plan to do like, some vlogging of, decorating my classroom and so on. My goal is I want to put out content at least once a week. But this is where the balance comes in because I feel like YouTube is a part of me now. And I love creating content. I love watching the content. And so I'm going to make time for YouTube because it makes me happy. You know what I mean? It relieves stress. I enjoy watching, some of my favorite teacher YouTubers out there, and it relieves stress for me, and it makes me happy. So my plan is to continue putting content out there, and just being mindful of what I want to do. I just need to do better at like maybe preparing, like, okay, what do I want to talk about this week? What do I want to do this week? And getting things out there because I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of that YouTuber that, I'm gonna do a video tomorrow and this is what's gonna be about. But then I won't do another video for another week or maybe two. And I know that's not good, especially for the peeps that are looking forward to the vlog. So I look at YouTube as a fun hobby. And so even though I am going back to school, to me, it's just giving me more content to put out there, giving me more ideas to put out there for people. So I plan to keep doing YouTube, and this is part of that balance and reassessing, if you're enjoying watching YouTubers out there and you're missing it and it's making you sad that you're missing them, then you got to find that balance to say, you know what, when I get home today, I'm going to watch a couple of my faves, watch a couple videos, I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think I want to put out as much content as I'm doing this summer during the school year. And the way that I'm planning on doing that is trying to get like a little bit less fancy stuff. This takes a lot of time to edit. So like even the weekly vlogs that we've been doing, it takes me all day to put that on. The kids know, like on Sundays, Dad's working. Like, I have to record like the narrative section of it, and then I have to like edit down everything that we took that week. And so like last week with Brody's birthday, there was tons of stuff to go through because me and my wife were just like recording every single thing, and we just do that because it's
right
way. But the more kind of like intricate the edits are, the longer it takes, and I'll have to feel that out.
I'm telling you. And can I just say, your vlogs are like, whoa, your vlogs are pretty amazing, Reynolds. Like this last one with Brody's birthday. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, and then your 10 tips for the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
like those should be in services. Like principals should have their teachers watch that. I mean, that was some great advice, my friend. Excellent advice.
Thank you. That's a lot of compliments, and
well, you know how I feel about you, man. And you know that
I know.
From day one when I saw your video, I were like 200 some odd subscribers when I found you, and I was just like, this guy needs to be known on like you should be having like right now 30,000+ subscribers, because I'm just saying, Miss May gonna be real. Now, you the real deal, man. Okay, you are the real deal, and seriously, from the bottom of my heart, like I will shout it out as many times as I can. You're the YouTuber. Like you need to be having those numbers, and I know you will get there, but you need to be having those numbers. Like seriously, like your content, it's real. I'm telling you, when I first saw it, I was like, I had this. I'm talking about it now. And like when I was watching the I2 teach tags, like Reynolds, your name is out there. I mean, and you keep doing what you're doing because the thing about you is, one, you're male, okay? Two, where you teach at. I mean, all Black guys, this white teacher making a difference like this, and yet you hear people crying and complaining about what they can't do. And I mean, you're just a prime example. Like, to me, there's just no excuse. There's just no excuse. And you're just so real, and you're so humble, and you truly want to help people. You're not here on, because I'm gonna be honest with you, my 2 cents. Like, I know, I just feel like some people are on YouTube because they want to be seen. They want to be, and it's not genuine. It's not. And you are truly genuine. That's why I'm picky on who I watch and who I subscribe to. I'm just being honest. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with who everybody else may be impressed with, or who I like genuine, real, and you are so genuine and so real, and you truly care about those kiddos. And I am so glad I found your channel when I did. And now look at you. I mean, you're gonna be at 10K by August 28th, my friend. You return. I mean, I mean, seriously. I mean, seriously, man. You and Miss Reynolds know how I feel about y'all. You know you are my favorite YouTuber, and you always will be. I love many out there. I do, and I have a lot of favorites, but you're my number one. You're my number one, my friend, and you keep on push. It's obvious that you are working hard. Like, I feel like I'm about to start preaching up in here, like I'm about to have a teacher service or something.
Is that why I'm fanning myself? I'm one of those women in church that like fan themselves. All right. I appreciate that
Reynolds,
a lot.
I'm sorry. I just had to say that. I had to say that, and I know you have plenty of subscribers out there, and those of you that are watching, please spread the word to your campuses about this guy right here, because we need a lot of Reynolds out there. We need a lot. See, I see Time to Teach says, I agree, Miss May. Thank you. Brenda Della, the chicha, preaching, Miss. I'm trying to, y'all, because right here is the man. He is the man. He always will. He's the man. I'm telling you, just every time I watch your video, man, you amaze me, man. That video you did with the 10 tips, woo.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna talk to my principal about sharing that to the campus, because you just, oh my gosh, I can't even. Don't even get me started. Yes, Williams for 24
you
says,
started.
Totally
You started
this
on your own.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We need a lot, because Reynolds is so real. I tell you, people make this job harder than what it has to be. If you truly care about kids, you'll be A-okay. And Reynolds truly cares about kids. You my ace. Truly. Glad to call you friend.
Thank you. I'm going to go into the next question now, because my face hurts from smiling, and I'm getting all hot and sweaty now. So, all right.
I'm sorry, friend. I just had to do it, man, because, oh, man.
I appreciate it.
I know how I feel.
Let's do, want to do like a lightning round real quick? We'll finish up with like questions, and we'll just give real quick answers to them, so I can make sure that everyone's getting the question.
Sounds good.
So first,
okay,
Brenda, who wrote me a really, really nice email last week, said, do you both feel the same about higher grades, 10 and over, about homework? I think homework depends on your school too, Brenda. I don't know how long your day is. I don't know. I do think that there is something to say about homework and gearing kids up for college and getting them ready for that workload.
Right.
But I also don't know how much you can get them ready. So, if you think that it's a necessity, then go ahead and do homework. I'm not telling anyone else to not do homework, and I think even a more interesting conversation might be to talk to the rest of the people that are on your grade level, right? So I make sure that I touch base with other folks. So if I find out that math is giving a lot of homework on Monday, or if someone else has a test on Friday, I might not give a test on Friday then, because I want to help the kids.
Exactly. Right.
So I think that could be a community decision within the grade level as well, depending on how big your school is.
I agree. I totally agree, for sure.
Jennifer MWB asks, do your schools know that you both vlog, and do they support it? Does your school know that you make videos?
Yes, my principal is subscribed to my YouTube channel, and she supports it.
Nice.
100%. She's very supportive of it. And then yes, I don't I didn't like announce, hey, I'm on YouTube. It's just it was kind of like word of mouth kind of thing, and people were like, hey, or this popped up on my Facebook page with you. I didn't know you did YouTube. I'm not very vocal about it. Well, in the beginning I wasn't, because now my school, they all know that I do YouTube now. In the beginning I wasn't, but and they're all very supportive they're very supportive, very kind, and my
Yeah.
principal is very supportive. So yes.
Yeah. I get teased about it at school most of the time. Like, and like,
Do you?
yeah, my friend who works in the front office will just be like, she's like, I saw that video that you did, and and then have something smart to say about it. I'm like, well, I don't care what you thought of it. You gave me another view, so I'll take it. Like, you do whatever you want.
That's
Like, whether you like me or not, I appreciate it. So, Cece Moffat asked, she said, Miss May, do you have any advice for how to talk to a teacher that is new to our team and feels that she needs to compete with us? It's sad because we're such a loving team. Do you ever have anyone that feels like you're like they have to compete with you or like up everyone else or whatever?
Yeah, I've been in that situation before where it's like, where they want to be the shining star, and they're coming into your team. And I just honestly, I think though the best way to handle that is just in a polite way, maybe one-on-one. Just say, hey, I've been noticing that this, that, and a, and and to be, your ideas are great and we love them, but we're a team here. We're not here to compete with each other. I just think there's a polite. Sometimes you got to just be real and say, hey, look, this is what it is, and not sugarcoat it, but in a very polite and respectful way. Because I think we've all experienced, a teacher too that wants to be the shining star and look what I can do, and look, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And you just have to say, it is what it is. But I would honestly, first, I wouldn't go to her as a team, because she might feel, or he might feel attacked. But I would definitely, if you feel comfortable enough, I would definitely just one-on-one say, hey, this is what I'm noticing. And I would just explain what you're seeing and your thoughts and how you feel. Because we should be able to go to each other and just be honest, Yeah,
I think always that I call it closing the loop. So like with anything that's happening in school, right? So if I hear that if someone comes to me and says, hey, so-and-so was talking about you, I just address it right away. I don't because if I let it fester, then it starts bothering me, and then it comes home with me. I'd rather just because honestly, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Like, I'm not going to catch on fire if I go talk to someone about something, right? And
exactly.
If another teacher comes to me and says, I really don't like this person, or like, can you believe they do this? Like, I really hate when they do that. It makes me so mad. I tell people, and now this goes both ways. One, sometimes people are just venting, and I usually have a good radar if they're just venting. But if you're not, I think you're just trying to like stir up nonsense. I'll say, I will give you until the end of the day to go and confront them about that. If you don't, I'm going to go tell them that you have a problem with them about that, because otherwise you're making me the trash can. You can't like dump all that stuff on me.
That's right, Reynolds.
And then when it blows up later, it's like, man, I knew about that. And I don't do that in a vindictive way. It's like, nope, I want you to work this out. And folks know that about me. Like, if you come at me with your nonsense, like, I'm just going to tell the other person, because I'm not.
Reynolds, I love that. I'm going to start using that.
You're messing up. This is like, school becomes like a family, and you're kind of messing with my family, and I don't want that, because drama really is poisonous.
It is poisonous.
I don't want to deal with it. You got a problem with someone? I love it. Let's take care of it and make it the best. And so if someone was trying to be like more competitive, I just also think that stuff isn't sustainable. Like, so you come into the school and you're on fire. I love fire. But if you're just trying to be better than everyone else, it's going to play itself out. It's not sustainable.
It will.
doing it for the
It
wrong
will.
reasons. And what I want to be ready for is when it does burn you up, because then I can like swoop in, and then you're going to be more ready to listen to someone, right? So it's kind of like
That's right.
you have a friend in a bad relationship. They can't hear you when they're like in the midst of like, this person's so wonderful, and you're like, no, actually, I think they're kind of poisonous to you. But once the breakup happens, it's like, all right, now I'll just wait for that, and then we will help you handle it. A happy teacher,
Right.
true story. It said, a happy teacher, true story. That's a great name. Awesome. The question is, have you ever considered to go gradeless? I don't have the option. And we just had this conversation in school today. I was in a meeting with someone in administration today, and they said something like, well, we all know grades are fake anyway. But it's the system that we use, right? So grades should reflect, so the way that I do that is not every kid gets graded the same way on every single assignment. If it's out of 10 and someone got 7 right out of 10 and someone else got 5 right out of 10, they might get the same grade from me. I'm not playing that game because I know my students well enough to know who's struggling, who that was a hard assignment for, who that was a little bit easier for, and they should have given me a little extra on it. So
right.
Yeah, I don't have the option to go gradeless, but
Yeah, we don't either.
But my grades are have less to do with concrete grading and more to do with how I feel about that grade and
Right.
how I want to get with something. So yeah, are grades a big deal in your?
They are in the upper grades, but see, in the lower grades, we just give S's and N's, or E's. So it's we kind of just base it on it's not a grade. It doesn't go in the grade book. It's just kind of based on, how they're doing in, an academic area. So, we decide if they're excellent, satisfactory, or unsatisfactory, or not meeting the standard. That's how we base our grade system in the lower grades. Now, I know it's different in the upper grades at my school, but I know for us in the lower, we don't have to worry about necessarily the grade.
Yeah,
which is nice, I will say.
I'm gonna start grading.
It's nice.
I think I'd like to just give emojis in grade books. So some kids the prize, some the crying.
I know, right? That would
some
be
kids,
cool.
I tell them, I'm like, your grade was so bad that it just comes up as a crying emoji. I can't. The numbers. The teacher's tribe asked, I am fascinated by Miss May's special terminology for her strategies and management systems.
Aww.
What experiences drive the passion that you bring to the teaching learning environment? So what fires you up? What gets you passionate about this stuff?
Those darn kids, man. It's the kids that get me fired up. It's them. I do it for these kids. I don't do it for anybody else but them. I want them to feel I just want them to feel the love from me. I want them to know that I care about them, not just if they can add or subtract or write a story. I care about them as a person. And what gets me fired up is those kids. The moment I come up with something new for them or something cool and they're happy about it, that's what drives me. That's what keeps me going. It really does. It's the kids. I just want to make them happy, and I don't care what anybody thinks of me or says about me. I'm there when I come every day. I'm there for those kids, and that's what drives me every single day. Honestly, that's what it is. It's them.
Also, I mean, and I don't want to how do I want to do this? I'll just say this flat out. So for me, it's also, it's missional on some level, right? So I don't feel like my job is just a job that I go to every day, but I feel like I've been given something to do, and that's how and I think that motivator is a lot different than a paycheck, because if this was for a paycheck, I could work this hard at a lot of other things and make a lot more money. But it's not. It's it is the students. It is those connecting pieces. It's even the other people that I work with. Like, I like coming in and being excited about the day and high-fiving people when I come in the building or doing, I have this really, what I think is hilarious thing that I'm going to do in the beginning of the year that my wife is just like, oh my God. But I do these kind of ridiculous things because I think it makes other people's days better, and I just like doing that. So, and I think that comes from a different place than like just showing up because, I don't know, because I want to be a teacher.
I agree, Reynolds. I agree. Like that's why your kids love you, man.
Yeah. What was that? What was about this? No. Okay. There was another question. Hold on. They're shooting by. Them I forget what it was.
Yeah.
Did you have it? They lost it. All right. Real quick, what tell new teachers, or what would you tell teachers that are getting ready to go back? What would be like your final bit of like advice or like to light a little fire in them before they go back?
I would say, you know me, Reynolds, and how I feel. I mean, my number one thing is about prayer. Like, I always go with a mindset of prayer, just asking God to give me the wisdom, the strength, to do this job. And I would just say, and if you can, after you're praying and while you're praying, it's just go in there and just, sorry, my little nephews. Here, you want to come say real quick? Okay, I'm about to wrap it up. Can you say hi to CJ? You say hi to Mr.
Buddy?
Reynolds? But my number one goal is, what gets me fired up is I want those kiddos to know how much I love and care about them. And because I want these guys' teachers to love them as much as I love them, and that's what gets me fired up and going. Like, I want parents. Oh my God! You guys say hi to Marley. See, like, for these kiddos that we love, Reynolds, you know what I mean? Like, what gets me fired every single year is just, I want those kids to feel the love that I try and give my own personal. I really do. Brody!
Say hi. She loved your birthday video.
Hi, Marley! Marley! That's Marley and Brody, and that's Mr. Reynolds. Said Tippy's. He's my favorite YouTuber.
Thanks for sharing your
sunshine. But honestly, Reynolds, that's my best advice. It's just know that every day is not going to be perfect, and every day just do your best and just be happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. I would say plan your year and make it the greatest year ever. Like, just decide that this is going to be the best year ever. Are we trying to get the kids in there more? My kids are trying to squeeze in here also now. There we go. So, yeah.
I know.
This is an interesting way to end the evening. Bad.
I know, Reynolds. Man, I appreciate you so much, my friend. I really do.
All right, I'm gonna let you go, and you go hang out with your nieces and nephews. All right.
All right, love you bunches, my friend. Bye, Miss Reynolds. Bye, Marley. Bye, Brody.
Bye.
Bye, Fab.
Brody said bye.
All right, everybody. That was some ending to the evening. Mar, do you remember who's on next week?
No, I don't even pay attention to.
Oh, okay. So is that Tuesday? So Tuesday, I have a really great guest coming on, Colby Sharp, who is an author and a teacher. He is fantastic. I am really, really looking forward to finally speaking with him and not having it just through a Twitter feed. So he does YouTube vlogs. So I'll link him below, and I'll link Miss May's stuff below as if like everyone's not following her anyway. And I also want to just shout out real quick for the people that are still watching, the folks that watch every week and keep asking questions every week, and the people that have been emailing me, Brenda, the Ninja Teacher, Scottish Teaching Ninja, Senior S, and I'm not going to be able to remember everyone's name because I don't have that kind of memory, but I really, really appreciate it, and thanks so much for like helping to build this community where we're all learning from one another. It's really, really exciting. And so if you didn't get your question answered, I'm sorry. Miss May, she makes me talk for too long about stuff. So we'll answer any of your questions in the comment section that you have, and if you leave something for her, I'll make sure that she sees it and she gets back to you as well. Thanks so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd also say, what's up, Blessing and I, mere students of mine that are watching this? Peace, guys.